So welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be telling you how to prepare for a virtual interview. Oh yes. So you've got an interview, online. How do you prepare? Look, this time and age, if you're camera shy and you're not comfortable with the camera, you need to look at me now and say, look, Melvis, I'm ready for this. Oh yes, you should be ready because since COVID-19, things have changed. Life is different. Even me, I've had to adapt to the times because I was a very shy person. You may not believe me, but yes, I was. I was. So, but right now with the camera, I'm just like, girl, let's go with the flow. Whatever it's gonna be. And I just get on with it. So that's how I want you to be. By the end of this video, you're gonna sit and think, oh my God, Melvis, I've got it all sorted for when I have my interview. Whether you've got an interview coming up or not, truth be told, you're likely going to be applying for a job at some point. And yes, the likelihood that your interview is going to be online or you're gonna have something to do with virtual, online, it's gonna be very high. So you want to make sure you watch this video till the very end because I'm going to be telling you 4 different sections. So the first section we're going to cover is the timing of the interview. The second section is going to be where is the interview going to take place. The third section is going to be how do you prepare your environment for that interview. And the fourth section is going to be how do you prepare yourself for the interview. Because look, with a virtual interview, you don't only have to prepare yourself, you need to prepare your environment as well. So I'm going to be going through all of that in great detail. So you want to make sure that you're here till the end. You watch the video till the very end because look, you want to get all the points that I'm going to be giving to you today. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you. If you're a returning subscriber, it's always such a privilege having you return to watch these videos again and again and again. And if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Just hit that subscribe button now. Turn on the notification button because you want to be the first person to be notified when I drop a new video every single day on YouTube at 8 a.m. Oh yes, I do drop a video every day at 8 o'clock. So let's get to the point. So you've applied for that job and you've had that message come through and say, Melvis, congratulations, we're shortlisting you for an interview. And by the way, if you haven't watched my video about the things I do, when I get that email saying you've been shortlisted, look, you want to watch it because I have 100% success in all my interviews and I've been able to progress in the UK from a carer, band 1 carer, to an advanced nurse practitioner right now. That's what I do. I work for the NHS as an advanced nurse practitioner and I have 100% success rate in all of my interviews. And look, you want to check out the channel. You want to make sure that you're involved. You want to make sure that you're checking out what I'm producing because I want all of us to succeed. I want all of us to excel, to thrive, to have the best careers that we can have. Because look, I'm sick and tired of seeing friends, colleagues, sisters, brothers who are struggling, with things that are so simple or things that I have been able to do or that I've found people that can do and that you can get that support with. And that's why I'm doing these videos. So let's get to the first point. So the timing of the interview. Very important. So if you have that, you need to make sure that you know what time your interview is going to be. And this is so important, in fact, most important, if you are in a different country. Let's say, for example, you're in Africa, you're applying for a job in the UK. If because the person who is recruiting you is going to say the interview is at, I don't know, 12 noon, for example. They wouldn't necessarily say UK time or whatever, because when you're dealing with interviews, you're just thinking about your own time zone. You're not necessarily thinking about the fact that our candidate is in another country. So if you're obviously in the same country as the person interviewing you, this is not an issue. But if you're overseas and you're applying to, because there are online jobs right now, and look up on videos about online opportunities, so this really applies to those opportunities. You want to check the channel for those opportunities. You can earn up to £50 per hour just doing typing jobs online, and it's really easy. A lot of money to be made. You want to check those videos out. So like we were saying, if you are, doing an interview and you're in the same country, that's absolutely fine. But if you're in a different country, you want to make sure that you're checking the time zone. To put this into perspective, I have a private coaching program where I support nurses, carers, student nurses, midwives with career progression in the UK. So people don't want to study nursing or, healthcare related courses. I have a membership program where I support with that. And by the way, if you're keen and you're interested in career progression, you want to check that out. So I had this, girl that was part of my coaching program. She was based in China. So she wanted to study nursing in the UK. We had done the application, everything. She had the interview come through, and then her interview was at midday UK time. So that was 12 noon UK time. But back in China, her time was 8 p.m., which means that, it's like 8-hour difference. So, when I said to her, look, you've got to go through this. You've got to make sure that everything is ready, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, Melvis, my interview is at 8 p.m. Can I reschedule? I was like, you want to reschedule the interview for what time? And she was like, oh, but it's at 8 o'clock, it's night. And I said, well, if you reschedule at a more convenient time for you, it's probably going to be out of working hours in the UK. And look, nobody's going to be interviewing you out of working hours. If you want to study nursing in a university, how can you expect those lecturers to do an interview if it's nighttime and you're on afternoon? It's not going to work. So time is a very important factor. And look, when you're interviewing for a job, you want to be flexible. You want to make sure that you get that job, because it depends. Are they very desperate to have you? Are you very desperate to have them? Those things are going to influence how you're going to behave. Because if you're not able to make it at a convenient time and they cancel the interview, you're going to lose out. If they have so many candidates and they're like, oh no, we're not able to, reschedule for whatever reason, you don't want to be, difficult before you even get to start the job. But if you can reschedule, or it's a job that you're just like, well, if I get it, fine. If I don't, that's okay. It's different. So you want to make sure you've got all of that in mind. So when you're negotiating, be very careful during interviews. So that's the first point. The second point that we're going to talk about is, where is the interview going to take place? Oh, yes. What is the app? There are so many video conference apps. The main ones, you've got the Zoom and you've got Microsoft Teams. So if you are doing a virtual interview, you must know what app they're going to use. If they're using Zoom, for example, you need to make sure that, have you got the Zoom app? Do you need the Zoom app? And if you do you need login details? Have you got a Zoom link to join? Because you don't want to have the time right, and then the time comes for you to join in live and you don't know where the link is. You don't want to mess the interview up before you even get started. So please, you want to make sure that you're vigilant. You've got everything on sleek. Because if you're watching my videos, I want you to succeed, to excel, to thrive. I want you to be the best. I want you to have 100% success rate when it comes to your interviews. Yes, I do understand that sometimes you may have to do an interview twice, 3 times, especially if it's for senior positions. But ultimately, I want you to be able to achieve your goals and get any job that you want. So if you haven't yet subscribed, just hit that subscribe button right now, because look, I'm here to bring it real, to make sure that there's that accountability as well. So leave a comment. Have you got any interview coming up? What's the interview about? Leave it in the comment section and say, Melvis, I will implement. Because if you don't have an interview coming up, you're going to have an interview at some point. That's the point I'm making. So you want to keep watching to hear all the other points that we've got, because look, there's still the best to come. So like we've said, you need to make sure that, in fact, what I do is I actually go as far as trying the app. So if it's on Zoom, for example, and you've not used Zoom, get a friend. Get a friend, set up a Zoom account. The good thing is that almost all of these software, you can have free accounts. Set up a free account, try to use it with your friend, see how it works, see how you look in the video. You can sit up, look at yourself, make faces, smile, see how you look. Very important, because many people struggle with video. Many people struggle to look at themselves, but it's something that you need to get used to. When you're passing by the mirror, you've got a mirror, you need to stand, look at yourself, do funny faces. I do that a lot. And it helps to build your confidence on camera. Very important. Don't worry too much, about, oh, do you need to have a laptop? Do you need to have an expensive phone? Do you need to have, no, as long as whatever you've got is able to have internet connection so that you can connect to that interview, that's what you need. Obviously, you need internet connection. And that's going to also be very important for our environment, which is our third point. So you need to make sure you've got internet connection for the interview, because if you don't, how are you going to do the interview? So again, these are some of the things you need to be thinking about. Also, obviously it's going to be on video. Are you going to be screen sharing? If you have a presentation to do during the interview, you need to be able to screen share. Do you know how to do that? Do you know where to go? You don't want to go fumbling during the interview. You don't know where to go, and then they're having to support you, and it turns, instead of being a nice, chillaxing interview situation, it turns to an IT support call. You don't want that. So you want to make sure that you're taking your time before your interview to make all these preparations, make sure that everything is on sleek. You don't want to neither embarrass yourself nor the people doing the interview, nor having to reschedule, because when you're working, the likelihood is that you're still going to use this software. You're still going to use the software. So if you know how to use it and you can demonstrate to the interviewers that you're confident using that software, that gives you extra points. Even before your actual presentation, what you're talking about, you have extra points, because they know that you are excellent using that software. So when they have work meetings or presentations, you're going to be as slick and you're going to be the best candidate. Because look, glitches when it comes to interviews and technology and virtual interviews are very common. So imagine if you have an interview that goes all flawless without any of that. How are you going to feel? You're going to be like, oh my goodness, I did this. And rightfully so. So you need to practice with a friend. Set up a link, see how you look, set up your video, your camera, is it working? What about your microphone? Can you hear yourself? So these are some of the things that you need to be thinking about. And when you're home, you can even do practice. Record a short video. You can record a short video of yourself for 1 minute talking. I do that sometimes. If I've got an interview, I record a short video of myself. I'm like, hey, my name is Melvis. I'm an advanced nurse practitioner. I work for the NHS in England. I've done XYZ. And I go on about all of that, and it helps me. Not only with my confidence on camera, but it helps me with my interview preparation. So again, if you're part of my private coaching program, these are some of the things that we go through. If you're struggling with getting jobs, getting jobs and senior positions, you're a nurse, midwife, carer, you want those clinical, non-clinical healthcare jobs, I'm your girl. You need to make sure you check out my private coaching program, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, because you really do want to be the first to be notified when I drop a video on here every single day. Because look, I am dedicated, I am committed to this course, and I want to make sure that you succeed till the very end. Because look, I'm not going to give up. So you're not giving up either. So leave a comment below and say, Melvis, I will implement. And if you like my kind of content, you like what I do, I also want you to just leave a like, because that like lets me know that you're enjoying the content. It encourages me to be able to record these videos. Because look, you may not realize it, but these videos take a whole lot of time to record. Because when you're going to work, you're thinking, oh, have I got a video for tomorrow? And then somebody sends you a message, it's like, oh, Melvis, I've seen the video for tomorrow. I really cannot wait for 8 o'clock. And you're constantly under pressure. So it takes a lot of time to produce these videos. So you want to make sure that you like the video. It just lets me know that you're enjoying it. It just encourages and motivates me. And if there's anything you want to see more of in the channel, again, leave recommendations. I'm more than happy for that, because like I say, I really only like to do videos about things that people are asking me, because then I know that it's relevant and it's needed. Otherwise, there's just no need, is there? No need. So those are our first 2 points. Make sure that everything is on sleek. Now we're moving to the third point, and a very important point, your environment. Because with virtual interviews, you're not going to decide. If it was a face-to-face interview, you don't need to worry about your environment, because you're going to be going to an office, and your employer or whoever is doing the interview will be worrying about the setup. But when it's virtual, you need to make sure that you've got wherever you are, there's a good setup. Everywhere is neat, everywhere is clean. If you're watching all my other videos, you'll realize that I record my videos here where I am right now, because it's just easy for me, and there's that uniformity as well. And I don't need to worry about, X, Y, Z. I just sit down, I've got my chair, I've got my table, and I just record, and it's a lot easier. So you need to find somewhere where you're comfortable, somewhere you have a good chair to sit on, good height. If you have a chair where you can adjust the height, very important, because you want to make sure that you're right in the screen. Like now you can see I'm on the screen, I can move up and down, and I make sure that I'm quite inside. So you may be better at this than me. I'm just going with the flow, really, as you can imagine. So these are some of the things I want to consider. And then make sure that your environment is clean. Everywhere is clean, everywhere is clutter free, everywhere is tidy. Noise, oh my goodness. If you've got children, please, if you're going to get babysitting, it is the day you're having a virtual interview. Get a babysitter and get the child away from the house. Don't even keep them in the same house. Get them somewhere else with a friend, a family, pay somebody in school, whatever. You need to get the children away, because let me tell you, just when you're going to be doing the interview, you're going to think, oh, the children are going to stay in their room. That's when they're going to be shouting, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, auntie. That's when they want to tell you the best stories that have happened. That's when they're going to be kicking off. You don't want that during the interview. And just in case it happens, obviously, if you've got nowhere to keep them and you're like, oh my God, I'm in the UK, I've got this senior interview, I'm stuck, I don't have where to keep my kids, that's fine. But if it does happen that they crash in, simply look at the interviewer, smile, apologize, say, look, I'm really sorry, children, you know what they're like, I bet you've got some too. And just really make fun out of it, because then it's going to make it lighter. They're going to have a laugh and then carry on. But if you get tense, if you hear them shouting and screaming and you get tensed, then it's going to affect you. Because sometimes, I've had times where I'm sat here recording and, my children are home and then they come shouting, mommy, mommy, we need this. Mommy, can you do this? Mommy, can you do that? And I'm like, can I just finish this video, And they're like, no, you need to come help us now. So it happens, and I just leave it and I go to the kids. Because that's life, life gets in the way of things. So you need to prioritize yourself, prioritize your family. But if you're doing an interview, you need to find somewhere to keep the kids, because you don't want, ideally, you don't want these scenarios happening. So you need to make sure your place is clean, it's clutter free. You've got, and some people, if you're very tech savvy, some people are very good with technology. They can change like their screens, like my background. Some people are able to change that. So if you are so technology savvy, obviously you can do all of that and put whatever background that you want, but you don't want distractions because you want the interview to be focused on you and not the background, not everything else going on. That's going to be a recipe for disaster. You're going to distract the people who are interviewing, and look, you don't want that. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do hit subscribe, turn on the notification button. I hope that this is helpful for you. If it is, hit the like button as well. It just lets me know that you're enjoying it. And we're going to move to our fourth point. Yes, point number 4 is yourself. So we've talked about where the interview is going to take place, the time, your environment. Now we're going to talk about yourself. How do you prepare yourself for the interview? Yes. So what I mean is, haven't you heard about people who are doing Zoom meetings or like interviews, and they literally just have a shirt on, they've got no knickers, they've got no pants, they've got no trousers, no skirt underneath, they have absolutely nothing underneath. You don't want to do that. No. You want to make sure you got your trouser on. It's like me now. You can only see my top bit. I could be having nothing underneath. It matters. Well, I do have trousers, by the way. I've got trousers on. So it does matter how you dress for the interview. Even though it's virtual, you want to still dress for the part. Yes, dress like an interview. If you're having an interview and you dress up and you're not feeling like, oh my goodness, Melvis, look at me. If you don't feel that way, you're not ready for that interview. You're not dressed enough for the interview. So you want to make sure you dress the same way that you would for a face-to-face interview. And look, there's been instances where people have been doing these virtual interviews and they have needed to bring maybe additional documents or just to show something to the interviewers, and the people have had to stand up and they've got literally nothing underneath. I've seen that on TV, in the news. So you don't want to be in that scenario. You want to make sure that you're not creating a scene, and that you're definitely 100% and utterly certainly getting the job. So you want to dress up, dress to kill when you're going for an interview. You get what I mean? You get the vibes. You need to feel the vibes. And also, there's extensive research supporting the fact that if you dress appropriately for a virtual interview, it also influences your mood. It also influences how you talk. It also influences your morale, and it enlightens and opens up your brain. So if you can dress for the part, which means that you're formally dressed as you should for an interview, it's going to also make you remember your ideas better. It's going to make you to articulate better, So it is very, very, very important to consider all of that. So dress for the part, tone things down. If you've got massive hair, green, red, you want to tone things down. You want to adapt how you're dressed to the particular industry, because there are many different industries, and different industries have different standards and different expectations. In nursing, for example, if you're so shattered, your hair is all over the place, different colored hair, tattoos all over, there are certain things that the interviews are going to be start thinking, oh my God, we're going to be getting our money's worth if we employ this person. You don't want that. You want to present yourself in a way that somebody looks at you and it's like, Melvis, you're exactly who we need for this job, even before you ever open your mouth. And if you haven't seen any of my other interview tapes, you want to check this channel, because I've done videos about how I personally prepare for my interviews to guarantee my 100% success rate. And better still, if you need support with your career, getting jobs, I have a private coaching program where I support nurses, carers, student nurses, people that want clinical, non-clinical healthcare jobs in the UK. You're looking for that visa sponsorship, you're looking for a career in healthcare, then I'm your girl. Consider joining my private coaching program, because then I can support you one-to-one. It just helps with that accountability. It also helps to narrow down, who I work with, because otherwise it's not sustainable. And that's why I do these videos, because they can help more people. But like I say, if you need more one-to-one support, then I do provide that for people who are part of my private coaching program, which if you check my homepage of this channel or the description box, you can see, all information about that particular program, how you can join, what it entails, and all of that. So like we've said, you need to dress to impress for your interview. Then eye contact. Oh yes, when you're talking, you need to give eye contact to the people that are interviewing you. If you have 4 people, you need to look across, When you look at this one talking, you look at the other person, you smile, you're like, oh yes, it's such a pleasure. It's going to be such a privilege to work with yourselves. When I saw this advert online, I was like, this is so me. I could see myself working here. and that's why I applied. I've got XYZ experience, which is going to be so relevant. I work really, really well under pressure, and it's not something that I'm saying just because I'm doing an interview. But so that's how you need to be. Eye contact. If somebody's asking you a question, one of the other panelists, you look at them. If this other panelist asking you a question, you look at them. You smile. Do those facial expressions. You need to be expressive. If you just sit like this, if I was doing this video and I would just start like this, yes, and I go to your interview and then you do how is it going to be? But when you're moving your body around, when you're talking and you're, having those gestures, those articulations, it makes the other person like, yes, there's some life in you. Because if you're recruiting somebody, you want somebody who's got some life in them. You want somebody who's got some energy. You want somebody who's got some vibes flowing. So you need to take all of that into account. So gestures, eye contact, the way you're dressed up. If you need to stand up, they should be able to see that obviously you're fully dressed. Very, very important. And then we're talking about facial expressions as well. If you're smiling, you're talking about something good, you're like, oh, bless you, it's been so good. You see what I mean? If it's something that you're not sure about, you're like, oh yeah, there's that. Oh yes, I didn't ever think about that. So they've asked you a question and say you're not sure what the answer is or something, or they're just telling you something that is new that you didn't know about, and you're like, oh yes, now you say that really rings the bell in my mind, because I've never really thought about that. You can see the way I'm talking about this, I've never really thought about it, but now you said this, absolutely, you're right, 100%. Does that, the facial expression changes. But if you're talking about why you want me for the job, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm the best candidate for this. This is the position that I trained as a nurse to become. You see, it all changes. So you need to make sure that your facial expressions, gestures, articulations, all of that is changing. Body language, sit. That's why you need a chair that is comfortable. Sit in a comfortable position. If you're having your laptop or you're using your phone, put it in a height that is comfortable for you, so that you're not struggling, you're not stretching out, during the interviews, you're trying to see them, they're trying to see you, you're like, oh, what's going on? You don't want any of that. You want to make the interview process as seamless as it can possibly be. Because look, you're going to be thanking me when you have that job. And if you've got any interview coming up and you've enjoyed these tips, I want you to hit subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the notification button again, because I drop a video here every day, and I'm on a mission to make sure that all of us succeed, all of us thrive, all of us excel. Whatever job it is that you're trying to have, that you get that job, because you rightfully deserve it. All of us deserve to live our best lives. I'm in the UK. I completely, understand the struggles that you may be facing, whether you're already in the UK right now or you're still planning to come to the UK. There are many challenges, but you must keep believing in yourself. You must keep practicing. If you're not sure, you haven't thought about this, you're camera shy, you need to practice, because practice makes perfect. None of us is perfect. Even me doing this video, I'm just going with the flow. You know what I mean? I just literally sit down, talk about what I'm talking about. I don't have any script. I don't have all the ideas just in my mind, but I just share them with you. That's what you should learn to be doing. And it's going to help you with your interview, so that when you go in there, you can really demonstrate those values. And in terms of those virtual interviews, obviously, you are making sure that technology, you know what app you're going to be using, incredibly important. You get the time right. And if, you always have to be the one to compromise most of the times if you're doing the interview, because the people interviewing you need a panel. So if you're doing it at night, for example, they're not going to be able to interview at night. Like I was saying about this member who is based in China. I said to her, they won't be able to interview you. How are they going to do that? She eventually did the interview. She got the job. She's now in the UK. She's a second-year student nurse, which is amazing. She absolutely loves nursing, enjoying it. But these are some of the hopes that she had to go through in order to get there. So sometimes the challenges that you have during your interview or before your interview, you don't necessarily have them once you've had the job. So you just have to kind of persevere, initially, so that you get that job, get your foot in the door, and then you can get the support that you need to be able to enhance your skills, to be able to keep learning. Because like I say, none of us is perfect. I'm not perfect. Every day I'm learning. Sometimes I put videos on and somebody's like, hey, Melvis, the audio I can't hear. And I'm thinking, well, I can hear myself. How come this person cannot hear? But I just keep on, doing what I can do. If I can improve, I just improve. If it's something that people are like, Melvis, this is okay. But you need to keep putting yourself out there. You cannot hold yourself back because of, those technical glitches. If they do happen during your interview, just laugh about them. use some humor, because the person interviewing you wants to see that you've got some humor as well, which is so good. Use those facial expressions you can see, use your hands. Don't put the hands down there. It makes it boring. It makes you seem very uninterested. It makes you seem just dry and absent. So you need to make sure that there's some life in you. You're talking with some energy, because look, it's going to get you the job. And like I always say, when you're applying for a job, you're not only thinking about that job that time, you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about the fact that you want a long lasting relationship with that particular employer, because when you get the job and you've aced the interview, they're going to have very high expectations of you. Of course, they're going to have very high expectations. So when you start work, they're going to be like, Melvis, her performance during the interview was top notch. Melvis is the best candidate we've ever interviewed. She was the best for this job. She suits the job perfectly well, beautifully. We cannot wait for you to get started, Melvis. And so when you start, when other opportunities come up, they're going to recommend you. You're going to make sure you put yourself forward, because look, in life, networking is powerful. Networking is a powerful tool, and this is everywhere. Whether you're in Africa, you're in Asia, you're in Europe, networking is a thing. Networking is a thing. You need to create a good network for yourself. And that's what I'm saying. If you join my private coaching program and you've got me supporting you through those challenges, then the likelihood of you succeeding, of you just having a different mindset, of you thriving and excelling is going to be 99.9999%. So if you're watching this channel, you deserve that success, because that's the whole point of taking this time to do these videos. I hope that you found this helpful. Keep watching the videos that I've done about other aspects, from entrepreneurship to career progression, how to become a nurse in the UK, how to move to the UK, free ways to move to the UK that you don't need to spend an arm and a leg to do so. So I do interviews about all these different things. Career progression is something that I'm particularly passionate about. Yes, you're now in the UK. So what? Yes, you're in the UK. Then what? Because like I say, I was a carer myself, but one carer, but I quickly progressed to working as an advanced nurse practitioner. So career progression is something that I've experienced all the phases of it and all the challenges, and having those successful interviews, having those interview tips where you are just giving what the recruiters want is absolutely what you need. And that's why I've told you all these tips. Implement them. Make sure you write them all down, share with your friends that can benefit from all of this as well, because sharing is caring. And keep watching the videos. Thank you.